There comes a moment in every journey where moving forward does not mean rushing ahead, but instead allowing yourself to stop, breathe, and recognize the significance of where you are right now. Too often we get caught in the motion of life, pushing from one task to another, chasing deadlines, and constantly planning for the future that we forget to honor the place we currently stand in. The power of pausing is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the understanding that God's timing is not rushed, that every moment is divinely aligned, and that sometimes the pause is the preparation for the breakthrough you have been praying for. Stopping right here is not about giving up, but about allowing yourself to fully absorb the magnitude of what has already happened. You have survived storms that were meant to destroy you, overcome battles you never thought you would win, and grown in ways you never imagined possible. When you stop, you can see the fingerprints of God all over your journey, the small victories that built your strength, and the unseen protection that carried you through. Stopping allows you to take inventory of your progress. Think about the person you were a year ago compared to the person you are today. Think about the prayers you whispered in silence, the tears you cried when no one was watching, and the weight you carried in seasons of struggle. Now consider how far you have come, how those tears became seeds of growth, how the prayers were heard even when answers seemed delayed, and how the weight you carried has shaped you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Pausing in this moment reveals that October 1st is not just another day on the calendar. It is a divine marker of transition, a reminder that there are bigger things unfolding than what the natural eye can see. When you stop and reflect, you begin to see that the obstacles were not there to destroy you, but to teach you. The closed doors were not rejection, but redirection. The delays were not punishment, but divine alignment. The moments where you felt stuck were actually God anchoring you so that you would not drift too far from your destiny. It is in the stillness that revelation comes. It is in the pause that clarity is found, and it is in the recognition of the now that gratitude overflows. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into holy ground. By stopping right here, you can thank God not only for what has been done, but also for what is about to unfold. Gratitude is the seed of expectancy, and expectancy is the soil in which miracles grow. Stopping here also teaches you the importance of presence. The future may feel overwhelming with its uncertainty and unknown challenges, but the present moment is a gift. Worrying about tomorrow robs you of the strength you need for today. Anxiety about the future steals the joy of what is already in your hands. When you pause and choose to be present, you reclaim your power from fear and place it back into faith. The pause becomes a declaration that you trust the timing, you trust the process, and you trust the God who has never failed you. This moment is bigger than you think because it holds the transition between what was and what will be. Pausing here is like standing at a doorway between seasons, one foot leaving the past behind and the other stepping into a future that has already been prepared for you. To stop is to acknowledge the weight of the threshold you stand upon. It is to realize that destiny is not rushed, that breakthroughs don't happen in chaos but in divine order. Sometimes the greatest thing you can do for your future is to stop in your present, listen for direction, and align your heart with the will of God. Stopping here is also a call to release what no longer serves you. When you pause, you create space to evaluate what you have been carrying that is unnecessary for the next season. Old fears, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, and shame cannot cross over with you into what is coming next. The pause becomes the sacred ground where you lay down the burdens and pick up the strength required to walk forward. It is the checkpoint of destiny, where you decide what stays behind and what moves forward. Stopping does not mean the journey has ended. It simply means you are wise enough to acknowledge that this point matters, this day matters, this season matters. The pause is not wasted time, it is holy time. It is the place where your soul aligns with divine timing, where your heart recharges with gratitude, and where your spirit finds peace before stepping into the next assignment. Struggle is a word that carries weight, often heavier than we care to admit. It paints images of hardship, pain, and endless battles, yet within every struggle lies the seed of strength. The shift begins when we realize that what we once viewed as unbearable suffering was actually preparation for a new dimension of resilience. Struggle is not the sign of weakness. It is the training ground where endurance, patience, and character are built. Without pressure, there is no diamond. Without fire, there is no gold. And without struggle, there is no true strength. When you begin to see your struggles not as punishment, but as platforms for growth, everything changes. The narrative moves from why me to what is this teaching me? That one adjustment in perspective can transform frustration into faith, despair into determination, and defeat into development. The weight you are carrying is not evidence of your failure, it is evidence of your capacity. You are being stretched because there is more inside of you than you realize. Struggle is often the birthplace of revelation, where you discover that you were stronger than you ever thought possible. There were moments you thought you wouldn't survive, times you were convinced that the pain would break you, but instead of breaking, you discovered a strength you didn't know was there. You learned how to stand when everything inside of you wanted to fall. You learned how to rise when circumstances were pulling you down. You learned that strength is not just physical endurance, but the inner ability to hold on to hope when everything else is slipping away. What looked like struggle was actually the unveiling of your strength. Strength is forged in seasons of struggle because it forces you to rely on something greater than yourself. Struggle strips away comfort, removes easy options, and demands that you dig deeper. It is in the moments where you had no one else to lean on that you realized faith was more than words, it was oxygen. It was in the moments when resources were scarce that creativity was born. It was in the times when doors closed that perseverance developed. Struggle pushed you to grow in ways that comfort never could. What felt like a battle was actually a classroom, and every scar you carry is a testimony of a lesson learned. Shifting your perspective also means embracing the truth that strength is not only shown in victories, but also in survival. Sometimes strength is not about conquering the mountain, but about refusing to let the mountain conquer you. Sometimes strength is not about winning the battle, but about refusing to surrender in the middle of it. Every time you chose to get out of bed when depression whispered, stay down. Every time you pushed forward when fear screamed, stop. Every time you prayed when worry tried to silence your voice, that was strength rising within you. Your struggle has not disqualified you, it has equipped you. Every tear, every setback, every loss, every disappointment has been shaping you for the destiny ahead. Strength is not built in ease, it is revealed in endurance. And when you begin to look at your life through this lens, you stop resenting the struggle and start respecting it. You see it as part of your story, part of your testimony, part of the process that makes you unshakable. Strength is the legacy that struggle leaves behind, and when you shift your perspective, you realize that the very thing you thought was sent to destroy you has actually positioned you for greatness. Struggle also teaches empathy and compassion. When you have walked through fire, you can sit with someone else who is burning and remind them that flames don't last forever. When you have survived storms, you can encourage others that the clouds will eventually part. Your strength becomes not just for you, but for everyone connected to you. Others see your endurance and find the courage to fight their own battles. Your perspective shift turns personal pain into collective inspiration. The truth is, life will always bring seasons of struggle, but with the right perspective, those seasons become sacred. Instead of seeing them as interruptions, you begin to see them as invitations. Invitations to grow deeper, to stand taller, to trust stronger, and to live wiser. Struggle refines your faith, molds your character, and awakens your strength. The perspective you choose determines the outcome you experience. When you choose to see strength in the middle of the struggle, you are no longer a victim of your circumstances, but a victor over them. Fear and doubt are like invisible chains, subtle but strong, holding people back from stepping fully into who they are meant to be. They whisper lies into the mind, convincing you that you are not capable, not worthy, not ready, and not enough. The tragedy of fear is that it keeps countless dreams buried and countless lives confined to small spaces when they were designed for so much more. Breaking free from cycles of fear and doubt requires recognizing that these voices are not truth, but barriers designed to keep you from experiencing the fullness of your destiny. Cycles are repetitive patterns that feel familiar even when they are destructive. Fear shows up the moment you consider stepping out of your comfort zone. Doubt arrives when opportunity knocks, whispering that you're unqualified. Together, they work like twin thieves, stealing confidence, stealing peace, stealing progress. The cycle continues because every time you retreat instead of rise, the voice of fear grows louder. Every time you hesitate instead of move, the grip of doubt tightens. Breaking free means disrupting the pattern, refusing to obey those voices and choosing to walk by faith even when your knees are trembling. Freedom begins with awareness. Fear loses its power the moment you expose it for what it really is. Most of the time, fear is rooted in illusions, things that haven't even happened yet, worst-case scenarios that live only in the imagination. Doubt thrives on comparison, convincing you that because someone else seems stronger or more successful, you are unworthy. But awareness allows you to question the lies. What if the fear you feel is only highlighting the magnitude of the assignment you are called to? What if the doubt you carry is only proof that you are stepping into territory your family line has never walked before? Awareness transforms fear from a wall into a doorway, reminding you that on the other side of what you fear is usually what you've been praying for. But breaking free requires courage, but courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of it. Courage is standing in front of an opportunity while your heart is racing and your palms are sweating, but still saying yes. Courage is recognizing that doubt may never fully disappear, but your faith can be louder. Every time you act in faith, the cycle begins to weaken. The more you step forward, the more the chains begin to break. Every step becomes a declaration that fear no longer controls you and doubt no longer defines you. Fear thrives in silence, but it cannot survive in the presence of truth. When you replace fearful thoughts with words of faith, you rewrite the script. When you remind yourself that you are equipped, chosen, and capable, doubt has no room to settle. Speaking life over yourself breaks the cycle because your words shape your mindset, and your mindset determines your actions. It may feel strange at first to affirm your worth when fear is loud, but persistence silences the lies over time. The cycle also breaks when you refuse to be defined by past failures. Fear and doubt feed off memory, reminding you of when things didn't work before, convincing you that history will always repeat itself. But the truth is, failure is not final. Every mistake carried lessons that equipped you for what's next. Every disappointment held wisdom that sharpened your discernment. You are not bound to repeat the same outcomes unless you continue believing the same lies. When you learn to see your past as preparation instead of punishment, you strip fear and doubt of their greatest weapon. Breaking free is not just about moving forward personally, it creates a ripple effect. When others see you stepping into boldness, it inspires them to challenge their own cycles. Your courage becomes contagious. Your breakthrough becomes a blueprint, and your freedom becomes an invitation for others to pursue their own. Generational cycles of fear and doubt can end with you. The moment you decide that the lies no longer get the final word, you break a chain not only for yourself, but for those who come after you. Fear and doubt will always try to return, but freedom is about refusing to surrender to them anymore. The cycle only continues when you agree with the lies. When you choose faith over fear, action over hesitation, truth over doubt, you establish a new pattern. That pattern builds confidence, nurtures strength, and aligns you with the life you were always meant to live. Fear may still knock, but it will no longer be your master. Doubt may still whisper, but it will no longer silence your voice. Breaking free means living in the fullness of who you were created to be, unchained, unafraid, and unstoppable. Every season in life carries its own challenges, opportunities, and lessons, and stepping into a new one often requires courage. A new season means unfamiliar territory, fresh responsibilities, and sometimes unpredictable changes. It can be exciting, but it can also stir up uncertainty because stepping into something new always demands leaving something old behind. Walking with courage into new seasons means trusting that even if the path is unfamiliar, you are not walking it alone. It means believing that if you are called into it, you are already equipped for it. Courage in a new season does not mean you will not feel fear. It simply means you will not allow fear to dictate your steps. It is natural to feel hesitant when routines shift, when stability is challenged, or when comfort zones are left behind. Yet courage whispers that the unknown can be a place of growth, not destruction. Courage says that stepping into the new is not about having all the answers, but about trusting the one who guides your steps. Each step forward is an act of faith, a declaration that you are willing to embrace the possibilities hidden in the unfamiliar. The beauty of a new season is that it carries fresh opportunities for transformation. Just as the earth cycles through spring, summer, autumn, and winter, life moves through its own cycles of planting, growth, pruning, and renewal. Some seasons feel like blossoming, others like stripping away, but all are essential for destiny to unfold. Courage is needed to accept that every season, whether joyful or painful, serves a purpose. Without the courage to move forward, it is easy to get stuck in old places, clinging to what feels safe but no longer serves growth. Walking with courage allows you to embrace change with expectation rather than fear. Walking with courage into new seasons also means releasing the weight of the old one. Too often people carry the baggage of the past into the place where God is calling them forward. Old hurts, past failures, disappointments, and regrets have a way of clinging tightly, whispering that the new season will be no different. But courage says release it. Courage says the mistakes of yesterday do not disqualify the promises of today. Courage says what is behind you cannot define what is ahead of you. Each season is a fresh invitation to grow, to heal, and a step deeper into purpose. Sometimes walking into a new season requires courage because it feels like you are starting over. Starting over is not easy. It demands humility, persistence, and patience. But it is in starting over that strength is renewed and vision is clarified. Starting over means you are willing to rebuild, to learn again, to stretch again, and to trust again. Courage is the bridge between where you are and where you are called to be. Without it, the weight of the unknown can keep you bound in places that no longer fit. With it, you can step boldly into the future prepared for you. Walking with courage also requires discernment because not every season looks the way you expected it to. Sometimes the doors that open are not the ones you prayed for, yet they are the very ones that lead to greater opportunities. Sometimes the relationships that shift are not losses, but divine pruning to prepare for growth. Courage allows you to see change not as rejection, but as redirection. It allows you to walk forward even when the map is unclear, trusting that each step is leading you closer to your destiny. New seasons often bring resistance, both internally and externally. Fear will try to rise up, whispering that you are not ready. People around you may not understand your shift, questioning why you are stepping into something new. Yet courage requires you to silence those voices and remain anchored in faith. Walking into a new season is not about pleasing everyone else. It is about obeying the pull of purpose within you. Sometimes courage looks like walking alone, but even then, you are never truly alone. Walking with courage into new seasons is also about embracing growth. Change is uncomfortable and growth rarely feels easy. But comfort never produces maturity. Courage pushes you to stretch beyond what you thought was possible, to pursue goals that feel bigger than your capacity, and to believe for outcomes beyond what your experience has shown you. Every time you walk forward with courage, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. Courage becomes the foundation upon which your new season is built, shaping you into someone who not only survives change, but thrives through it. At its core, walking with courage into new seasons is about trusting that what lies ahead is greater than what is behind. It is about believing that the future holds more than the past ever did. It is about stepping boldly, even if trembling, into the unknown because deep down you know that growth, destiny, and fulfillment live on the other side of fear. Courage is not optional when it comes to new seasons. It is essential. Without it, you remain stuck. With it, you step into everything that was waiting for you all along. Challenges are often seen as obstacles designed to block progress, but hidden within every challenge is an opportunity waiting to be uncovered. Life rarely presents opportunities in neat, convenient packages. Instead, they often come disguised as difficulties, setbacks, or interruptions. The ability to embrace these challenges with open eyes and an open heart allows you to discover the treasures that others miss. The very thing you may have resented could be the very thing that refines you, stretches you, and ultimately sets you up for greater success. When a challenge arises, the first response is often frustration, fear, or resistance. It feels uncomfortable, inconvenient, and overwhelming. Yet if you pause and look deeper, the challenge begins to reveal itself as more than just a barrier. It becomes a mirror reflecting areas where growth is needed, resilience is required, and hidden strengths are awakened. Opportunities often live in disguise, and challenges are their camouflage. What looks like the end of the road could actually be the beginning of something greater than you anticipated. Opportunities and challenges are not always external. Sometimes they are internal. A difficult season forces you to discover qualities within yourself that you would never have tapped into otherwise. You learn patience when everything feels delayed. You discover strength when you are pushed to your limits. You cultivate faith when solutions seem impossible. These are opportunities not found in comfort but in pressure. The struggle becomes the soil where perseverance, discipline, and character grow. Each challenge becomes a classroom, equipping you with tools you will need in future seasons. The hidden opportunities and challenges are also about perspective. Two people can face the same obstacle, but one sees it as a reason to quit while the other sees it as a reason to rise. The challenge itself does not determine the outcome, the perspective does. When you begin to look at challenges not as punishments but as platforms, you stop shrinking back and start leaning in. You start asking, what can I learn here? What can I build here? What is being revealed here? That shift transforms setbacks into stepping stones and barriers into bridges. History shows that some of the greatest breakthroughs were birthed in the middle of challenges. Inventions came out of necessity, movements rose out of injustice, and personal destinies unfolded through moments of adversity. Without the challenge, the opportunity would never have emerged. The difficulty was not a detour, but the very environment where creativity, innovation, and vision were sharpened. If you only focus on the hardship, you will miss the hidden gift. If you embrace the process, you will uncover opportunities that position you for greater impact. Embracing hidden opportunities and challenges also means trusting timing. Often the hardest part of a challenge is not knowing when it will end. The waiting can feel unbearable, the uncertainty exhausting, yet the timing is part of the opportunity. In the waiting, patience matures. In the process, trust deepens. If every challenge ended quickly, the lessons would never take root. But when you endure the season, you carry forward the wisdom and resilience that only time can cultivate. That wisdom becomes the opportunity that continues to serve you long after the challenge is over. Challenges also open doors to connections and relationships you may have never encountered otherwise. Sometimes the difficulty positions you in environments where you meet people who play pivotal roles in your journey. Sometimes the struggle connects you to mentors, friends, or communities that provide support and encouragement you never knew you needed. What looked like a painful season actually introduced you to the people who would walk with you into your next chapter. The challenge becomes the bridge that leads to divine connections and aligned opportunities. It is also important to see challenges as opportunities for impact. When you overcome something difficult, your story becomes a source of strength for others. Your scars become proof that healing is possible. Your victories become evidence that endurance pays off. The challenge you endured becomes someone else's hope. By embracing your challenges, you not only discover opportunities for yourself, but also create opportunities for others to rise through your example. The weight you carried becomes a testimony that inspires others to keep moving forward. Embracing hidden opportunities and challenges requires faith, resilience, and vision. It is not about denying the difficulty or pretending it is easy. It is about acknowledging the reality of the struggle while choosing to look for the good within it. It is about deciding that no challenge will be wasted, that every tear, every setback, every delay carries something valuable within it. When you choose to see challenges as opportunities in disguise, you position yourself to grow, to rise, and to step into doors that you would have otherwise missed. The challenge that was meant to break you becomes the very thing that builds you. Promotion is something many long for, a higher position, a breakthrough moment, an opportunity to step into greater influence or blessing. But what often gets overlooked is the process that comes before the promotion. Preparation is rarely glamorous. It is often hidden, slow, and demanding. Yet without the process of preparation, promotion cannot be sustained. Trusting the process means believing that every delay has purpose, every test has value, and every unseen season is shaping you for what you are about to carry. Preparation is where strength is built in the quiet places. It is where skills are sharpened, character is molded, and endurance is developed. It is where you are taught how to carry weight without crumbling, how to walk in humility even as capacity grows, and how to keep integrity when no one is watching. The temptation is to desire promotion without preparation, but anything gained too quickly can also be lost too quickly. Preparation ensures that when the door opens, you are not only ready to enter it, but also equipped to remain in it. Trusting the process requires patience, and patience is not passive. It is active trust. It is choosing to remain faithful in the small things while waiting for the greater. It is showing up with excellence in the assignments no one applauds, knowing that consistency in the unseen is what builds credibility in the seen. Every season of waiting is not wasted time, it is invested time. Seeds planted in patience will always produce harvest in the right season. When you learn to trust the process, you understand that the wait is not denial but development. Preparation often looks like obscurity. You may feel overlooked, hidden, or forgotten. But hidden seasons are holy seasons. They are the places where vision matures without the pressure of the spotlight. They are where mistakes can be made and corrected without public judgment. They are where endurance is tested without the distraction of applause. Being hidden does not mean you are disqualified. It means you are being preserved. Diamonds are formed underground. Roots grow in the soil. Foundations are built before structures rise. Trusting the process of preparation means embracing the hidden season and allowing it to do its work. The process also refines motives. Desire for promotion can sometimes be driven by ego or comparison, but preparation strips away selfish ambition and purifies intent. It teaches you that true promotion is not about recognition, but about responsibility. It is not about being elevated for your own sake, but about being equipped to serve others on a larger scale. Preparation humbles you so that when the platform comes, pride does not destroy what patience built. Without the process, promotion becomes a pedestal. With the process, promotion becomes a platform for purpose. Another aspect of preparation is resistance. Just as muscles are strengthened by lifting weight, character is strengthened by facing opposition. The tests, the obstacles, the closed doors, the criticisms, all are part of the process. Resistance may feel like rejection, but it is often redirection, pushing you into greater strength. Every time you endure, you gain capacity. Every time you rise again after a setback, you gain resilience. These are not wasted experiences. They are necessary equippings for the promotion ahead. Trusting the process also requires surrender. It means accepting that timing is not in your control. It is easy to feel ready before you are actually prepared, but rushing into something prematurely can create collapse. Just because the desire is there does not mean the development is complete. Trusting the process means surrendering to the timing that is higher than your own. It means believing that when the promotion arrives, it will not only be the right opportunity, but also the right moment for you to carry it. Looking back often reveals that preparation was happening even when it felt like nothing was moving. The lessons learned in private, the disciplines cultivated in silence, the strength built in struggle all come together when the promotion finally arrives. You realize that every step, even the ones that felt like setbacks, were actually part of the process shaping you. Trusting the process allows you to walk into promotion not with surprise, but with confidence, knowing you have been prepared for it. The process of preparation before promotion is not always easy, but it is always necessary. It guards you from premature exposure, equips you with endurance, and aligns you with timing. The preparation season may feel hidden, but it is holy ground. Trusting it allows you to embrace the journey without resentment, knowing that the promotion will come at the right time and you will be ready to carry it with grace. Strength and purpose progress is often overlooked because the finish line feels so far away. Many people measure their worth or success only by completion, by the grand moment when everything is wrapped up, visible, and celebrated by others. Yet the truth is, progress itself is worthy of recognition. Every step forward, no matter how small, is evidence that you are moving, growing, and advancing. Celebrating progress, even when the finish line isn't visible, teaches you to value the journey instead of waiting for the destination to bring validation. It is easy to dismiss progress when it does not look dramatic. The mind often whispers that small wins do not matter, that if the big breakthrough has not come yet, then nothing is changing. But transformation is built one step at a time, one decision at a time, one act of faith at a time. A seed planted today does not become a tree overnight, but every root stretching beneath the soil is progress. The branches may not yet be visible, but growth is happening. Celebrating progress is a reminder that unseen movement is still movement. When you celebrate progress, you shift your focus from what is missing to what is happening. Instead of fixating on how far you still have to go, you honor how far you have already come. That shift not only builds gratitude, but also fuels momentum. A person who recognizes small victories finds the strength to keep going, while a person who dismisses them risks discouragement. Progress is fuel, and when you learn to celebrate it, the journey becomes sustainable. There will be times when the finish line seems invisible, when the outcome you long for feels delayed, and the vision you are pursuing feels distant. In those seasons, the temptation is to quit because you cannot see the reward. But celebrating progress keeps hope alive. It reminds you that every effort is building towards something greater, even if you cannot see the full picture yet. The invisible finish line does not mean there is no finish. It simply means the process is still unfolding. Trusting that allows you to remain steady, while celebrating each step keeps you encouraged. Celebrating progress is also a declaration of faith. It is choosing to rejoice in what has started, believing that what has begun will also be completed. It is giving thanks for the middle, even before the ending has arrived. That kind of gratitude unlocks peace in the present. Instead of waiting until everything is perfect to celebrate, you choose joy in the process. You celebrate progress as evidence that you are on the right path, that growth is happening, and that the finish line will eventually come into view. Sometimes progress is not measured in external accomplishments, but in internal transformation. It may not look like a promotion, a breakthrough, or a public victory, but it could be the quiet growth of your character, the strengthening of your resilience, or the healing of your heart. The fact that you respond differently to what once broke you, the fact that you see yourself with more clarity than before, the fact that you no longer settle for what diminishes you, these are all signs of progress. Celebrating them honors the invisible work happening inside of you. Progress also deserves celebration because it breaks the cycle of perfectionism. Perfectionism says nothing is worth celebrating until it is flawless, but that mindset breeds frustration and paralysis. When you learn to celebrate progress, you silence perfectionism and embrace grace. You allow yourself to grow at a pace that is sustainable. You acknowledge that forward is forward, even if it feels slow. By celebrating progress, you affirm that small beginnings still lead to great endings. Celebrating progress, even when the finish line isn't visible, also inspires others. Your willingness to honor your journey encourages those around you to do the same. When people see you clapping for yourself in the middle, they realize they too don't have to wait for the end to celebrate. Your perspective shifts the culture around you, creating an atmosphere where growth is valued and small steps are honored. The celebration of progress becomes contagious, reminding everyone that the journey itself is worth embracing. The finish line will eventually come, but life is not only about endings. Life is about becoming, and becoming happens in stages. If you only wait for the final moment to rejoice, you miss the beauty of everything that shaped you along the way. Celebrating progress teaches you to see the miracle in the middle, the blessing in the process, and the victory in each step forward. Even when the finish line isn't visible, you can stand with gratitude and joy, knowing that progress itself is proof that the promise is still alive and unfolding